This is The Bottom Line. The Bottom Line on 938 Live.
Now, Apple has unveiled a pair of larger screen iPhones and an internet-connected watch and a new payment system. And Singapore will be the first amongst those few countries getting the new iPhone next Friday, but the Apple Watch will only be available early next year. For more on the new launches, we have on the line with us Aloysius Low. He's senior writer at CNET. Now, Aloysius, did Apple hit the spot with their latest iPhone 6, or do you expect sales of both versions to be good?
Well, given that the last version, the iPhone 5C and 5S, did pretty well in Singapore, I expect to see long queues. But there's been a lot of Android phones since then, so I could be wrong, and there won't be anyone buying a phone because everyone already had an Android phone.
Right. Now, how does it compare against the other recent launches where we've seen curved screen phones from the likes of Samsung and LG, as well as sapphire glass displays from Huawei?
The last few Android phones are basically flagship devices, so like phones from LG did pretty well because they have higher-end specs like a Quad HD screen. And then you have phones like the Galaxy S5 and the Sony Xperia X V2, which are waterproof. And of course, you have the HTC One M8, which is aluminum like the iPhone. So they have basically been giving Apple a run for their money, and they've been doing pretty well in the market as well. If you look now, you can see a lot of Android phones, and iPhone users have become sort of maybe like the minority. But the more interesting thing is actually the low to mid-range devices, like phones from Xiaomi, which are doing really, really well, and they always sell out, and you can't actually get one when you try to buy one.
Right.
And yeah, these are the phones that are currently in hot demand in the market right now.
Okay, crystal balling very quickly. What kind of smartphone features do you think consumers want, especially for the Singapore market?
People like taking selfies, so having a good front camera is important. And you have phones with larger screens right now that everybody wants one because, on the train they just want to watch, or when they're commuting they just want to watch TV shows and Korean dramas. So I'm guessing having a good front camera and a large screen will be the more important thing right now.
Now, on the other hand, do you think Apple will be able to work its magic on the wearables category with the launch of its Apple Watch?
I think it's still too early to make a call. There have been already a lot of haters on the design of the watch. But at the end of the day, if you look at how Apple has always done things, that they create a product that you don't actually think you want, but then when you start using it, you actually find that you will want and you would like to use it. And this might actually be useful for users who have never actually tried a smartwatch out. And, there are a lot of people who have given out watches because they have smartphones, and they might actually want to switch to having a smartwatch to see how it works with the smartphones. Of course, there are already Android watches that do the same thing, the Motorola 360, the LG G Watch R, and the Samsung Gear S. But Apple has always managed to come up with a take that's interesting for users. So, at the end of the day, this will be something that once you try it, you might like it, or you might actually wait for the second generation, which is likely to be a lot better. And
what do you think of the new Apple Pay system, which uses near-field communications or NFC technology? This technology is not new, but how will Apple bring it to the table?
If we go by Apple's track record, it's likely that they will be able to implement the service globally and get people to actually start using the service, which is Apple Pay. But there are issues in Singapore that Apple might not be able to overcome because over here, for NFC payments, people actually are required to actually have an NFC SIM card as well as an NFC-capable phone. So the issue here now is whether Apple can actually get around this and convince people to use the payment system without having to use this service. Because if you have to use this service, it's going to be really difficult to get people on board to switch because you have to get a new SIM card, you have to register with the telcos as well.
All right. Aloysius Low there, senior writer at CNET on The Bottom Line.